Good morning, everybody. We are back, or still continuing on our Colorado Trail journey, and we are at the Timberline Lake Trailhead, and we are going to be doing segment 10. Segment 10 is 13.3 miles with a total elevation gain of 2,690 feet. So it'll be two bigger climbs, but they shouldn't be too bad. It starts at about 1 mile and then 6 miles, again in climbing about 1,000 feet each time over the course of 3 miles. So 250 to 300 feet of elevation gain per mile. So it shouldn't be too bad, just a slow and steady grind. It should be a pretty decent day. There isn't really any forecasted rain, just a 5% chance in the afternoon, and the high in the mid 60s. But we are going to try to get through this segment in one day and continuing on to segment 11. But anyways, here we go.
Get ready to go.
Just wanted to give a little tip as you guys start this segment. The trail markers actually make it look like you go across the creek when you first start, and then you get a little disappointed that you're gonna have to have wet feet when you cross. But if you actually stay to the right on the Timberline Trail, which is more the motor vehicle trail, there is a bridge that goes across and meets up with the Colorado Trail. So when you first start and you see that creek and think you have to cross, just take the trail up and to the right and there'll be a bridge to cross for you. Anyways, continuing on.
Get ready to go.
So we just got through the hardest part of this climb. When you start at the beginning, it definitely is a glute and quad buster. You've got a good stretch of at least half a mile of grades that are between 15 and 22%, but don't be discouraged after you sort of level out after that half mile. It's a slow and steady climb and not anything more than a 15%. There's a couple of stretches it looks like after this that might be a little steep, but nothing longer than 5 to 10 feet or so. But anyways, we're continuing on this first part of our climb. So we just reached our first little peak and we're on our small descent for the next 3 miles. We'll probably have lunch at the bottom. But just for dog owners out there, the terrain here is really nice and there is water, small creeks, every like half mile to mile. So you shouldn't have to carry so much water for the dog, at least in this first part, be able to manage some of those climbs. So sun is still out. Clouds are still looking good, nothing too ominous. We're gonna have to take shelter again. And we're gonna try to make up for some mileage. We're at 2.1, coming up with those steeper inclines at the beginning. But gonna try to pick up our speed a little bit here, then have lunch in a little bit. And we just entered the Mount Massive Wilderness area. So no bikes or anything like that allowed here. And in this wilderness area, all dogs, unless they're hunting or unless they're stock dogs, have to be leashed. The whole across wilderness area just had them under voice control or in control at all times. So Remy, back behind me as usual, just has his leash on. But we mostly use him leashed anyways. No big deal. All right, continuing on into the Mount Massive Wilderness area. We are almost to our second peak, which has got about 300 more feet to go. It kind of flattens out a little bit before you get there. But we took our lunch break, about 30 minutes, by Rock Creek, which is a really nice place to camp because there's water, and take a break before you start the second climb. Definitely a lot easier the first one. And even though you're in tree coverage, it's like noon right now, so sun is shining straight down on us, so it's a little hot, but at the top here is a little bit of a breeze. So it's kind of nice. I'm thinking that we can make it to Twin Lakes tonight, especially since I think it's just descent all the way through down into Twin Lakes. But hiking on. So about 10.2 miles into this segment, you will come to the Mount Massive Spur Trail, and I was originally going to peak it this morning, but because of the weather last night, I couldn't make it too far into this segment. There is camping a little just a bit further down the trail with some water, so you could essentially leave your heavy stuff, go climb up to the peak and climb back down, and it's much easier than trying to do Massive separately from the Colorado Trail. But anyways, if you plan on doing that, just make sure you give yourself plenty of time and you want to hit that peak by noon because of the afternoon thunderstorms. Just on the massive descent here, you can actually see Albert through the trees. Not a very good view. Cannot see Massive though. So we are still on the descent from the Mount Massive Spur Trail. Definitely a knee breaker. Once you just get shortly past the trail, levels off a bit, but once you're getting about 2 miles from the trailhead, it's very, very steep and it gets a little rocky, but if you're tired for the day, your knees will definitely feel it. So we are probably gonna take a long break, probably have dinner at the trailhead here before we go into Twin Lakes. We're just about 0.3 miles from the trailhead, and that's another 13.3 miles off of our 500 miles of fun in 2021.